It's the Alabama Show. Don't be locked in love. It's the Alabama Show. Don't be locked in love. It's the Alabama Show. Don't be locked in love.
Welcome to another edition of the Allen Powell Show, our regular night, Tuesday. Man, got a locked and loaded show for you tonight. I didn't get a chance to talk to the originator about The Last Dance, so we're going to be touching on that. But NBA's Orlando CEO says they're willing to play until Labor Day. So we're going to dissect that. Cubs have a lawsuit against them. We're going to talk about that as well. So all of that and a lot more on this episode of the Allen Powell Show. Y'all see originator in the building. I got Mr. Tell the Truth in the building, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, originator? Al the boss. How y'all fellas doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Long time no see.
No, it's been a minute, bro.
Yeah, good to have
I
you
was
back.
good my way. Safe.
Yeah.
Corona free.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I got the crew in the building, man. So everybody that's tuning in, y'all comment. Y'all make y'all comments, and we're gonna put them up on the screen and address your comments as well. Y'all, everybody who's following, y'all share so y'all people can see it as well. But all that being said, man, let's lock a load. I didn't get a chance to talk to either one of you about The Last Dance. The originator, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about 5 and 6, but Mr. Tell the Truth, I haven't talked to you at all about the whole documentary. So I'm gonna start with you first, Truth, because I haven't talked to you about the whole documentary at all. Just give me your overall opinion about the documentary and stuff that stuck out to you.
I think it's dope, especially in this time where we're sportsless and we're basketballless. It's been a trying time. It made me realize how much I need that little distraction of basketball, because I definitely miss it. But it was nice to take a trip down memory lane and to see what real competition looks like again, to see what basketball was like before a steroid-taking man named LeBron James came and started a new chapter. You know, I love the story of when they went up against the Bad Boys, and you know they lost 2 years in a row, and him and Pippen got stronger, and they hit the weight rooms, and they finally got over the hill. It's just an amazing story, man. The 90s were an amazing time, and it just shows you how big Jordan was and how huge for the game of basketball he was, and how the NBA and its fans are still reaping the benefits of the groundwork he laid. So I don't know if you have any specific questions for me, but I've enjoyed it, man. I've enjoyed every segment of it. I think they did Isaiah Thomas a little wrong for the one mistake he made. Like he said, that's how it was back in the day. You know, that's how Boston did him. That's how Philly did him. And he admitted that it was wrong, but I think Jordan needs to let that go. Jordan being a little bit petty with that one. But other than that, and it's funny to see them smoke cigars and drink beer after the game. Like that's something that I never thought that they did.
Let me ask you something specific. When you brought up the Isaiah Thomas situation, who do you think is solely responsible for him not being on that team?
Oh, we know who it is. Even if MJ didn't say specifically, I don't want Isaiah on the team, the powers that be knew the beef that Isaiah Thomas and Jordan had, for one. Two, it was the image that Isaiah Thomas had. And I don't think it was the image that they were trying to portray as they were trying to take basketball nationwide. So unfortunately, the Bad Boy Pistons got the bad boy name, and they weren't the chosen ones of the NBA. So I think it was a lot of different people.
Originator, we've been dissecting the documentary every week, I believe. And so I didn't get a chance to talk to you about episode 5 and 6. What's some of the things that stuck out to you doing 5 and 6?
Well, first, before I get into that, let me go off what Mr. Tell the Truth said about Magic and Isaiah situation. Yeah, it was MJ that kept Isaiah off the Dream Team, but it wasn't Michael Jordan. It was Magic Johnson. And then if we can go back and then, let me go back and give you some history on this. When Magic Johnson came out on November 7th, 1991, the day that the real golden era of the NBA died, came out and said that he had HIV and AIDS. The first people he had called were Michael, Larry, and Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were best friends. They were in business together, during the 80s. And when Isaiah Thomas had questioned Magic Johnson's sexuality when he came out with HIV, because people really didn't know if it was a homosexual disease or not. So he questioned that. And when Magic Johnson got word of that, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the recruiters of the Dream Team, as well as Rod Thorne and David Stern. And hold on. And when Magic, and people really didn't know that. See, people want Michael Jordan to be the one that kept Isaiah off the Dream Team because of the Chicago Bulls Detroit Pistons rivalry. It makes great storyline of the Pistons and Bulls rivalry. And let me give you one more thing. Magic Johnson admitted in his autobiography that he had wrote that he was the one that kept Isaiah off the Dream Team. It's just that people just don't want to hear that because they want to believe in their heart that he was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan loved Isaiah Thomas. He said next to Magic Johnson, he is the second greatest point guard of all time.
He don't love Isaiah Thomas.
He has a lot of respect. He has a lot of respect for Isaiah Thomas.
He has respect for his game.
You heard what he said in the documentary. He said he's the second greatest point guard of all time, no matter how much he hate him. And he really don't hate Isaiah Thomas. The only reason he don't like Isaiah Thomas is because he has a losing record against Isaiah Thomas. Everybody else, he has a winning record. But Isaiah Thomas is the only guy in NBA history that can say he was the one that beat Michael Jordan. And that's where the real hatred comes in. Now,
okay. Let me add this. They say it was other people that didn't want him on the team as well, as far as like Karl Malone, Pippen, of course, Larry. So it was. I'll say it was a combination of people.
But listen to what I said though. Rod Thorne made Magic Johnson the recruiter. So Magic Johnson made all the calls. So, at that time, when he found out what Isaiah said about him, everybody know Isaiah should have been on that team. Yeah, but Barkley didn't want him. Stockton, Malone didn't want him. And Pippen is very vocal about that. But Magic Johnson was the main guy to keep Isaiah off the team.
Got you. So let me get to this, man. 5 and 6. What was your biggest takes from 5 and 6, originator?
My biggest take between 5 and 6, man, it's a lot. It's a lot, man, because I just been enjoying it that much, man. And I mean, you have to go to the Clyde Drexler and Michael situation, because everybody always said that Clyde was the Michael Jordan of the West. Drexler had a great season that year. They always said that Michael Jordan don't shoot threes. He's not a good 3-point shooter. And that was the big difference. And Mike had always said, well, the reason why is because I choose not to shoot threes. So he uses his athleticism, to get his points going into the paint. So when they said that Clyde could have been MVP that year, Jordan really took that personal. So that's why in game 1, he said, we're going to show him who's the real MVP. And that's where the 3-pointers came from. It was great, man. I love that.
I took some notes down from episode 5. It was a lot going on in episode 5. Truth, I want to get your opinion on this because I know that did you get a chance to watch 5?
Yeah, I watched 5 and 6 last night actually.
So I want your opinion on this, man. When Jordan said he wasn't endorsing Harvey Gantt because Republicans buy Jordans as well. What was your whole take about Jordan's political stance?
That he's a businessman and a capitalistic system, and like he said, if you don't agree with what he's saying, then maybe he's not the person you should be looking up to. He was a businessman, and he didn't think that just because he was black, and black people love him, that he should support a Democrat. Sort of like the same thing Kanye West said.
And then like he made so many comments. Let me say this. First, he said that Republicans buy Jordans too, but he did send a contribution. He said he can at least do that. It seemed like he was just throwing money at the situation because he didn't really want to stick his neck out there. Was he wrong for putting his money before the people?
Before what people?
The black people. Come on, man. What do we mean? Because look, if he
all blacks gotta be Democrats, we ain't made it off the plantation.
Oh no, hold on. I'm just talking about this specific election because we knew about the person he was going against, Jesse Helms, and what he stood for. And if Jordan endorsed Harvey Gantt, we can say that he would have won, and I thought it would have been better for that time.
What I'll say is I talk a lot of mess about LeBron James.
Yeah.
Off the court, LeBron James is a better person than Michael Jordan. It hasn't come out, but there's been rumors of Jordan owning stock in private prisons.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well,
hold on.
Know about his gambling.
I'll finish this comment and then you can respond.
That was talked about heavy in the show, his gambling and how he treated teammates. He was not the greatest person, and he had his flaws. But I personally don't hold it against him. If you look at people like LeBron and athletes like Carmelo standing up for causes, I can't remember a time in my childhood where Michael Jordan did something like that. And he definitely had the power to. He was probably one of the most powerful, influential people of that entire decade. The man probably could have ran for president and won if he really wanted to. So I don't remember times where Jordan took a stance, especially the stuff that was happening in our community in the 90s for our people. So off the court,
Originator, go ahead and respond, man. What did you have to say when you said it was not true? What was you about to say?
Michael Jordan didn't invest in he doesn't have anything to do with the prisons or anything like that. That's a different Michael Jordan. That's a white guy named Michael Jordan.
Somebody did say that too, Mr. Tell the Truth. Just to clarify what he said, somebody else said that as well. That was a different Michael Jordan. But go ahead, Originator.
Right. You just can't believe. People to this day, they still try to find something wrong with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not God. Larry Bird said he was God in gym shoes. Michael Jordan is not perfect. He's human. And at that time, when he was, when everybody wanted him to, take Harvey Gantt's side and everything, he said, "Hey, look, I don't, I can't support somebody that I don't know." He didn't know. Michael Jordan, he was about his business and he was about basketball. That was it.
He wasn't about politics. Yeah.
He wasn't about politics. So at that time, it was hard for a black man to take on that, that type of role. We seen Jim Brown do it. We seen Kareem Abdul-Jabbar do it. Those were different guys. Michael Jordan really don't like being in the spotlight like that. All his charity work that he's done, all that stuff was not televised. He did a whole lot of things in silence, for charity, so you just can't say LeBron, LeBron is a better person than him off the court because we don't know everything LeBron's doing, even though we still have social media, and to on LeBron, I mean, what about with the China situation when he chose his business over that? You know, so
let me ask you this, because he made a joke on the show where he gave Randy Brown them tickets, and he said, God just gave you the tickets. You know, Randy Brown made a comment, and then he made a comment saying, referring to himself as God, giving him the tickets. What was your thoughts about that?
It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, can people just calm down? Can a man joke just like he was joking when he said Republicans buy sneakers too? It's a joke, people. Can the man
Michael Jordan did not
ahead,
think that he was God. It was an analogy. Because he was God-like on earth.
Right.
About as close as a human being can get to it. But he didn't think
Allen Iverson called him Black Jesus. A lot of people called him Black Jesus because of what he did on the basketball court. And you know, people really don't think Dr. J is really a doctor. You know, he doesn't think he's a doctor because they call him Dr. J. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got these tickets from the doctor. I'll give you a prescription. Like, no, like, can the man just can he just have some fun? Can he just have some fun with his teammates? I mean,
it's people like Al that ran him out the NBA. Soon as he do something slightly wrong, you want to bust him over the head. The man was joking. Now give him a break, brother.
You know,
Hey, I think he was joking too. But my wife, like, see, nah, he believed that, you know, and so I thought he was joking as well. But my wife, she done turned over some type of new leaf. Man, I'm gonna have to do. It's not no number to call in. You got to put your comments on. You keep commenting, we'll put them up there. Antonio Golson said, "Come on, Al. He was just playing," and said, "Don't take it wrong." Like I said, I agree, man. I agree. She also said he was about his gym shoes, and
he was a businessman.
He's a businessman.
At the end of the day, he was a businessman.
Look, it was a different time at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like every black person really couldn't open up like that because, you know, it could really hurt them. I mean, guys like LeBron James and how they're political now, you know, because, you know, with the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that, you didn't, you know, you really did have a Black Lives Matter movement back in that time, but it was through the radio, it was through rap music, and they did the best they could to shut that down. Public Enemy, KRS-One. You're not going to hear no type of music play like that on the radio today, and they shut it down. So what do you think would have happened to MJ at that time if he started a Black Lives Matter movement at that time? You know, he would have got Craig Hodges.
But that I would say that's the slight difference between him and that era, because we had just come off the Muhammad Ali era, you know, where our athletes, and especially our black athletes, stood up for the people and stood up for their rights and stood up for freedom. And that's the only slight that I can have on Jordan. But he was so much of a businessman and wasn't as personal. But I mean, he's still Jordan, I guess.
Hey, Tierra Williams said, I think she meant to say buy my shoes, and were like saying he was basically all about his shoes, didn't care about black people at all, just buy them shoes.
Tierra needs to get out of her feelings. Tell her to stop. tell her to leave Black Jesus alone. That man's gonna be fine.
So look. Hey, I love the documentary, man. I can't wait till episode 7 and 8 because I think they're gonna bring out the fights. Go ahead, Originator.
One more thing that caught me in the documentary was the Horace Grant situation. I do believe that Horace Grant leaked all the information that was going on in the locker rooms that because he had a close relationship with Sam Smith. I mean, Mike even said it. He said Horace released the information. Will Perdue said that Horace did it because he felt slighted, because Horace was an important piece to that first three-peat. You know, he was one of the best power forwards in the league. You know, he didn't make an all-star team, which until, you know, Jordan had left. Yeah, he did feel slighted, but, you know, he said he didn't give Sam Smith the information. But I mean, how, you know, players like that have close relationships with sports writers. Yeah, you know, there's that whole thing if something come out like, I have an anonymous player that said this about a player. You know, that was Horace Grant at that time. Yeah, Horace Grant did release all that information, and he just
believe he did. You believe He said
it wasn't no
he did. I gotta
concrete
take
evidence.
I believe
And then and BJ Armstrong said if it was Horace Grant, it was not just Horace Grant alone.
Right.
right.
So
So we're gonna move on, man. Orlando's CEO, Orlando Magic CEO for the NBA said they're willing to play into Labor Day. And if they play into Labor Day, that's basically going to push back the next season. Truth, NBA is your thing, man. How would you feel about them playing all the way into Labor Day and maybe starting the next season up into Christmas?
I'm fine with it. I hope they move the season back because the time of the year that I hate the most is right after the NBA Finals when there's nothing but baseball on. So I think
don't be hating on baseball, man.
As I've heard other people say that they should move it into the baseball time slot and compete with baseball over competing with football.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm cool with it. I'm down with it. I hope they finish the season. I don't see it happening. I don't see how it's going to happen. No matter what happens, this season's going to have an asterisk on it, whoever the champion is. So,
Think so?
but half of the season got stopped. I mean, the season got stopped halfway through the season. So, even if they come back, they're not going to be in playing shape. The rhythm is going to be thrown off. It's too many variables.
Well, they're supposed to be working out right now and keeping in shape, but if they
it's not like playing in an NBA game. It's no matter how much working out you do. It's not the same as running up and down, getting your timing right, playing in an NBA game, and also getting the chemistry with your team too. That chemistry has to be built back up for most teams.
Originator, get in there, man. What's your thoughts about them possibly delaying the season and playing until Labor Day?
Well, there's good and there's bad that comes to this. There's good because yes, I would love for them to finish the entire season because there are certain teams that are like 1 or 2 games away from the last playoff spot. And but two, going into Labor Day, there's no way the NBA can compete with the NFL, even if they are playing. Even if they are playing in the finals, the NFL is the most popular game in the sport. So, I mean, and if it runs into going into next season, that means they're not even going to have a training camp. I mean, the only teams that's going to have an advantage is the teams that haven't even made the playoffs. But those 16.
What about you? If they push the season back to Christmas, then I think they will have a little time.
I mean, then what we're talking is we're going back into what happened in the lockout when they played the 66 game season and they condensed all the games together. And then we all know what happened to Derrick Rose, which they say played a part in that, them playing all those games together. They played 3 games back to back to back. I mean, some teams played 4 games in a row. You know, so now you're really going to have the players complaining, talking about they need to shorten the season and widen the calendar, meaning that they're going to want to have max contracts and play less games, and the owners are not having that. So now you're going to look at another labor dispute. You know, so I mean, if they're in a tough situation right now, I mean, you know, you if they do just say, hey, we're going to go into the playoffs, then you're going to have teams like Portland, who's in the West, that's only 2 games away from Memphis, who they feel like they can catch up with them, even though now they're healthy. Most of their players were hurt. Now they're healthy, and they're like, hey, we got a shot to get into this thing if we play the entire season. So those teams are going to have an issue. But then if you run into Labor Day, you're definitely going to have an issue going into next season. So
my personal opinion, man, is they should just go ahead and just cancel the season and start regular next season. Because I was a little nervous about LeBron winning this year and another year under his belt, you know, Father Time maybe catches up to him, you know. So just cancel this season, start over next season.
It's crazy you say that, Al. I said the exact same thing to somebody last night. I think LeBron may have been able to get it this year, but you have one more year on that clock and, you know, that body wearing down. I don't know if he can get it next year.
I don't feel like that he was going to win it anyway.
He had a chance.
No, he got a chance, but I don't think that he was going to win it anyway because of the team that I mentioned, that's a couple of games out of the last spot, Portland. Portland, remember, was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and they actually was a better team this year, but they had Nurkic out all year, who was their second best player. Now
They were a better team this year.
they were a better team this year, but they just had a lot of injured players. With Nurkic, then you had Carmelo, you know, with Damian Lillard, CJ McCullough, Hassim Thabit. They match up so well with the Lakers. The Lakers don't have answers for that Portland team, and you can see a situation like it was in 2007 when Dallas had lost to the Golden State Warriors.
Sir. You talk about Dirk Nowitzki compared to, as much as I don't like the guy, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Portland's a good team, but they were not a threat to the Lakers. Not
Martell.
in any play.
First of all, Dallas was 67-15 that year, and Dirk Nowitzki was the MVP, and they lost to the 8th seeded Golden State Warriors that had Baron Davis that year. They were predicted to win the championship that year. But Portland. Somebody just said Portland is Nicholas said Portland. I ain't even listening to Nicholas after what he said the other day. So let's move on from that. But the NBA is in the tough spot. I mean, I would like to see them finish the season. I think if they don't finish the season and they go straight to the playoffs, the champ would have an asterisk, because I think the Spurs team that played 50 games that year, that title has an asterisk. So they need to finish the season to get a true champion, in my opinion.
Jay Golson said they take time off already during the season, so I think he's basically saying what difference does it make?
And they're going to get a month. They're going to get a month training camp before they start the season, so they're going to have 4 weeks to train to get themselves ready for the season to finish it.
I want to get into another aspect of this. When and if the NBA do start up, it's reports that saying KD possibly can return from injury for the Nets. First of all, should he return?
No, he should return. Why?
If he's 100% and you paying him over $100 million, is it his job?
I mean, in this day, you know what? In this day and age of the NBA, no, because he's your franchise player. But, if this was maybe 10 years ago or something like that, yeah, come on and play. Because guess what? Klay Thompson's not coming back. I don't even think Steph Curry would come back. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still going to have some teams that's going to tank for the number one draft position.
Well, go ahead. Steph Curry came back before the season ended, remember? He came back before the season ended, and I think they were saying if the season started, Klay would come back too. I think it depends on the situation on how the NBA is formatted. If it's enough games for Kevin Durant to get out there and see if his legs are under him, see how he feels, see if he feels healthy, then I would go ahead and do it. Because in the East, you really only got one team that's really a threat, and that's Milwaukee. So he could come back and they can sneak into the NBA Finals. So I would say
I think the key is possibly Kyrie. He got shut down for the season. If he was to come back, I would definitely bring KD back, because now you got both superstars. But if Kyrie is
you wouldn't get one without the other. You definitely wouldn't get one without the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see, Tierra Williams said this doc is showing us just how soft these new players are. Is it any validity to that? What do y'all think about that?
Facts.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, they're soft. I mean, Mark Jackson said it the best. The players back then would cut from a different cloth. These players now, they want to have it. They want to have it both ways. They want to play less games and get more money. And honestly, I feel like the players are more concerned with the money than the championship.
Jay Golson says if he takes these, it would be a good to get a few runs in. I don't know if you can come back and go halfway. I think if you come, you gotta go full strength, because a lot of people say if you go in it and you try to take it easy, that's when you do get injured.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with what you said. If they take it easy like that, they play not to get hurt, then you're going to get hurt.
Right. I would say this. They're seventh in the East right now at 30 and 34. I mean, I definitely think it would be good for ratings. I'll tell you that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be interesting, man. Hopefully, I haven't heard any reports about Kyrie. So Kyrie will be would be the key to this whole thing. And
I don't think KD would come back without him. I think the reason Kyrie, was out for the whole season because he knew Kate. I think they came together and said, this season's a wash. Let's get rid of the players we don't want for next year and let's start fresh next year.
Right.
I think they came to that agreement a long time ago.
And honestly, I just don't think KD wants to come back this year because he doesn't. If Kyrie, like we just said, if Kyrie's not going to play, KD is not going to go out there and go hard, knowing that he doesn't have another player to go to or depend on, especially in crunch time.
Hey, Antonio Goes says, let all three sports play at the same time. Hey, as a sports fan, I would love it. As a sports show, I would love it.
I would love it too.
Even baseball.
I don't need to see baseball.
I'm hating on baseball, man.
I don't need to see baseball. I mean, I can go to a baseball game all day, but I don't need to watch it on TV.
That's why I hope the NBA. That's why I hope the NBA come back so it can finally get rid of baseball.
Look, the NFL all season is way more exciting than baseball. So any sport honestly than basketball too. Just
baseball. I'd rather watch tennis. I'd rather watch tennis than baseball.
Oh, man.
I'd rather watch golf. Golf than baseball. I'm watch
with
golf.
you too, bro. I'm getting more into golf. I could pay attention to that more than.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of golf, I can't wait till these golf courses open back up. On the side note, I've been seeing some people playing at golf courses. Truth, I just want to let you know that, man. Maybe we should just go out there and try.
I'm with it, bro. I'm off. I'll let you know my off days, but I'm with it. But I thought they banned you from the golf course last time we played that. Didn't you tear a window up or something last time we played golf?
No, don't be over here lying.
Oh, that wasn't you?
Every time you come on the show, your name is Mr. Tell the Truth, but you come on here lying all the time.
I asked the question. You can't lie asking a question. I asked, did you do that? I asked, did they ban you because they watch you play golf? And it's so horrible that they didn't want you disrespecting their golf course. I asked you a question. You can't lie.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen, Truth.
Oh,
that didn't happen.
It was somebody else. I apologize. Don't tell the truth that he be lying. I apologize.
Let's see. Tierra Williams says baseball is fire, no high requirements, and top guaranteed money. Williams is a baseball family. You got that right. And you got short. Look. I know you got Masai playing baseball though, right?
He's supposed to. Nobody's playing anything right now.
Yeah.
Let me. Can I been on here for 30 seconds? Can I get 30 seconds?
Go ahead.
Hey, first of all, shout out to my Maryville Junior Pirate Warriors. We were undefeated, 11-0. The day of the championship, they canceled it because of COVID. I shed tears. Yeah. But I just had to let that off, man.
Jay Ghost said, for sure. Jay Ghost said golf is open in Minnesota. I've been out 3 times already. Hey man, we might have to check that out. We got to try that out.
I'm pretty sure it's open, bro. I'm pretty sure it's open.
We're gonna have to get you out there, man. Get you some clubs, man. I
got some clubs. I'm ready.
That's what's up. We're gonna make that happen. So look, I got my legal analyst coming on in a little bit, man. We're gonna be discussing this Cubs story, man. But before he comes on, who did y'all just for clarity? Who did y'all have winning the finals? If the NBA does come back, who's winning the NBA finals?
My heart wants to say Milwaukee, but my mind wants to say the Lakers.
Okay. So who rules the mind of the heart?
I'm going with Milwaukee, man. They were extremely dominant on both sides of the ball this year. I think Giannis is very driven as you can get in the NBA, and I don't think that the Lakers or LeBron can handle Giannis. So I'm going with Milwaukee.
Originator, who you got?
My team hasn't changed. Even in the beginning of the season, I picked Milwaukee, and I said Giannis will win the MVP, and I still stand by that. These players need to stop campaigning for LeBron to win the MVP just because this is 17th season and what he's doing. Giannis Antetokounmpo, his team got the best record, and he's got the best numbers. I've always stuck with Milwaukee, and if they continue this season, I'm still sticking with Milwaukee. Honestly, I don't even think the Lakers will get out the West because the Clippers, I got some dogs.
Hey, that was my pick. Even though I'm nervous about the Lakers, I always pick the Clippers. The only thing that I don't like is that they play in the same arena, and the Lakers will have home court advantage all the games, no matter. Yeah. So that's the only thing that I hated about that, and I'm not happy about that at all. I can't wait till they get their own stadium. That's for sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's say if the season comes back, which team does this break benefit the most, and why?
Good question. Good question. Originator, I'll let you tackle that first.
We can go out those three teams because I think we all agree that Milwaukee, Clippers, LA are probably the championship contenders this year.
Hey, real quick, just say which team, because I got my legal analyst waiting to come on. Go ahead, Originator.
Well, to make it quick and simple, I would say Philly because Joel Embiid still were injured this year, and Philly is the top team in the East. I think it would favors them the most.
Okay, and I would say Clippers because they won't need no load management, I don't think. And Truth, who you say?
I actually agree with you. Clippers, maybe Kawhi get his knee together.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna bring in my legal analyst, man, to dissect this MLB story I got. Can you hear us well, Jay Camp?
I can hear you well. I'm live here.
All right. Introducing Justin Camper, my legal analyst. I want to talk about this MLB story. So the Cubs have a lawsuit that's going to be coming against them because a fan got hit with a foul ball. And she was sitting in the 6th row at Wrigley Field, and she got struck in the face during the 5th inning, and the fan suffered permanent injuries to the eyesight, her smell, taste, and teeth. And she also had a spider fracture. So now the MLB ended up putting up nets, but that was after the fact. And now, after this, not the only incident that happened. There's been multiple times where people have been hit by foul balls. So they got a lawsuit. So my question to you, Jay Camp, as a legal analyst and a lawyer, do the Cubs and the MLB have any defense?
Yeah, they definitely have a defense. This is not the first time something like this has happened. They have what the defense called assumption of risk, basically that she assumed the risk when she decided to go out there in the stadium. You assume certain risk. It's debatable, right? And the judge and the jury have to decide on who they're going to agree with. But I think their best defense that she assumed the risk when she sat in the seats that she sat in.
Okay, and let me have you jump to the other side of the table. If you're representing the fans, how much do you think that she can get in a situation like this?
Well, I looked online. I saw that she was assuming about $50,000 worth of damages, and I think she can get close to that or even more because she's doing a jury trial, and she faced some very significant damages. So I'm gonna go around that $50,000 number.
Only 50?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty shocked too when I saw it, but yeah, that's what the court case says, that she's only sued for $50,000.
Didn't you say she had lifelong damage?
Yeah,
yes, it's permanent damage, some permanent damage. But I was definitely expecting millions to come out your mouth.
Right.
She needs to call you. She need a better lawyer.
Right.
And I would say this, Jay Camp. So you saying if you represent her, are you saying you're only going to ask for thousands, or how much would you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going into the millions. I mean, she could sue for medical costs, lost wages, diminished capacity. She can't see as well, pain and suffering, impaired quality of life. So I mean, I'm going for the bucket. I'm going for everything. So yeah, I definitely think that I'm going for at least 3 to 5 million. I mean, I can't. I'm just giving you a random number. I don't know her situation and her job and all that. So, and the exact extent of her injuries. But I'm just throwing out a number of between 3 to 5 million.
Does this apply for hockey as well? Because in hockey they have some instances where the hockey pucks fly out and hit people in the audience, or sometimes when they break the glass and those people sitting right there behind that glass, they could probably get glass in their eye. Have there been any lawsuits, that you heard of from hockey regarding like this type of situation?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything in hockey, but I think it goes with all sports. I mean, like with the baseball example, they put certain things in the tickets saying, "Hey, you assume the risk when you come to this game." I mean, you can also argue that she could have said anywhere on the stadium. She decided to sit in the part where there is no net. Mm-hmm. So maybe the lawyers are thinking about that. She did assume some risk, and she is liable to a certain extent. So I think it goes for everything. It's debatable. And they have this thing in court called comparative negligence, basically saying that both parties were wrong, and that they're going to judge you based off the percentage that you are. They're going to give you a award based off the percentage that you are, not liable for. So I think that it's all about debating, arguing, and it just depends.
Go ahead, Originator, get in there.
Now I have a question here, and now this happened 2 years ago. Do you think that the lawsuit is just now coming because of the pandemic, she might have, lost her job and she's not getting wages? Do you think that the Cubs will have any type of say so, to think something like that? She could probably be laid off her job, because I'm pretty sure the pictures that they show in the news, that's not how she looks now. Right. So,
it's hard to judge, someone's intentions, but it could be a lot of different reasons. And she definitely has good standing to be there. And so I think she's right in what she's doing. I would, if I was her lawyer, based off the evidence I see right now, I would advise her to definitely sue.
Right, because my question is, how come the lawsuit is just now happening?
Yeah, that could be for a plethora of reasons. She might have been, still suffering and still trying to get adjusted to those injuries. She has a statute of limitation period, so she has an extended period to, file a lawsuit. And so who knows what she was going through in those 2 times.
Gotcha. Last question, man. Who wins in this case? What do you think is the outcome?
I think it's going to be more so along the lines of comparative negligence. I think what they're going to do is decide, based off of percentage, who is least at fault. And I think they're going to, definitely say that she assumed some level of liability. And I think they're going to also say that the baseball stadium should have, took some precautionary measures, because it did happen before. So I think it's going to be a split thing. It all depends on the lawyer as well, and how well he argue and how well that they have the jury in their hands. So I think it just all depends.
So she is, but you think she is going to get paid? They are going to have a settlement.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's highly unlikely that she don't get nothing.
And how long do you think this lawsuit is going to last?
I don't think it's going to last long. I think that MLB and the Cubs is probably going to want to resolve this thing as soon as possible. And this is not something that is new to them. This is something that has happened on multiple occasions, and the MLB are already taking action. So I think they're going to try to resolve this pretty quickly. So I'm hoping within the year, but it depends on how greedy the lady is, and it depends on so many different scenarios. But I'm thinking that it will probably be within the year they'll get this resolved.
Well, I definitely appreciate you jumping on with us, giving us that great lawyer analysis. I don't know if you got a chance to watch have you got a chance to watch the Last Dance documentary?
Yes, I've been following it.
Let me ask you your opinion real quick. Your thoughts about that, and something that stood out to you. How have you liked it?
Yeah, I thought it was. I think it's great. It's just Really great to get a flashback to the 90s and to how Chicago was on top of the world at that time, and to take a walk through Michael Jordan's eyes. I think it's just a really great documentary.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Jay Camp the Champ, Justin Camper, the lawyer. If you need a lawyer, holla at him. He can represent you. And the way he's talking, I would like to be represented by that brother because he's getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Appreciate you jumping on, man.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
That was Jay Camp the Champ, man. So just had to get through that story. Before I get to my come to church with me, I got a couple of more stories that I want y'all opinion on real quick. Let's see where I want to go. Tyson, it's a video of Mike Tyson, man, training, and it's a trainer that's saying that he still got the speed of a 21-year-old. So first of all, do you believe that? And then second of all, would you want to see him get in the ring again?
I do think he has the speed of a 21-year-old. I mean, he showed it. I seen a few videos of him, doing a little sparring sessions or whatever. But do I want to see him get in the ring again? No, because the last few fights I've seen Tyson in, I mean, they weren't that good. I mean, it was like that last few fights I've seen him fight, man, it was almost like seeing your superhero dying. You know what I'm saying? Seeing him get knocked out. And I don't want to see Tyson back in the ring, man. I mean, I don't think he needs the money. I know he was in a lot of debt, you know what I'm saying, since Don King, had did him the way he did, and they settled out of court and he was still in debt, but he paid off his debt and he's living comfortably. I mean, the man is he's 50 something years old, and he's living a good life right now. He's living comfortable. I don't want to see him fighting and something happen to him in the ring to where, he wind up talking like Bernard Hopkins or Terry Norris or, being in the ring too long like Muhammad Ali. Just chill out, man.
Truth.
He ain't got to get in the ring with a young man, but I love to see him in the ring. I'm pretty sure they could develop a old man who still got a boxing league, and I would love to see Tyson get in there. Does he have the speed of a 21-year-old? I don't have the metrics to measure that, but he was definitely moving quick, and quicker than both of y'all can move. Not quicker than me, but quicker than both of y'all can move. So
now all of a sudden you're a boxer.
I got them. But no,
you don't get out of here with that, man.
But no, I would love to see Tyson, man. It's like watching the Jordan thing over again. The 90s just was the era of greatness, man. And I wouldn't want to see him going there with a young man in his prime, but if he can get there and beat up on somebody, I would pay to see it.
You talking about the documentary, but we talking about now. Like we're not talking about
no. From all the sparring videos I've seen him doing recently. I mean, I know sparring is not getting in the ring and having an actual match, but his skills look like they haven't completely diminished. So I would like to see him get in there with someone who used to be a boxer, who still has it a little bit, And
hey man, you always gonna look good. That's gonna stand there not moving. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, what Bruce Lee say, Enter the Dragon. Well, man, hit that board. Boards don't hit back. So I don't even want to see him fighting somebody his age.
Man, the Holyfield? No, you don't want to see Holyfield?
No, I don't want to see it because it'll remind me of George. It'll remind me of George Foreman going against Larry Holmes.
If it came on TV tomorrow, I'll bet you any money you would watch.
That was my next question. Would you watch? Would you watch?
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I'll be sitting there shaking my head the whole time, like, come on, man. I mean, it's Mike Tyson. I didn't want to see Michael Jordan playing in the Wizards uniform, but we watched every game. So it's like we knew that wasn't the real Jordan. So I don't want to see Mike I don't want to see Mike fight, man. Come on, man. Just keep doing your cartoon, keep doing your shows and stuff like that, entertaining the folks, man. Because the man is very funny. I mean, Mike Tyson is a true entertainer, man. And I mean, just stick with that formula right now. Boxing is behind you now. If you want to be a boxing coach, you can do that. I would love to see him teach people, to box. But no, I don't want to see that man in the ring, man.
Hey, the trainer says within 6 months of training, he can make a successful comeback. That's what the trainer said. So I'm just putting that out there.
That trainer must need a check, So like no, stop landing that man. Stop landing, man. Oh man, come on, man.
If he got in there with a peer, I think he could do it. It's like riding a bike. If he got in there with somebody his age, I bet he can do it. Give him 6 months.
Did you watch George Foreman and Larry Holmes fight?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't want to. They called it the Geezers at the Caesars. They were just clowning them. Don't nobody want to see that, man. like sit down.
It could be like a best out of 3 rounds, something realistic, like 2-minute rounds, best out of 3, best out of 5, something like that.
They'll be hugging each other the entire fight, man. They'll be so winded, man. The bell will ring before the 3 minutes is up. They'll be like, man, I'm going back to this corner.
That's why you make it a minute and a half rounds.
Nah.
2-minute round.
Hey, it'll be interesting. It's possible. But look, before we get up out of here, man, I want y'all to come to church with me real quick. The scripture today is Proverbs 19:21. Says, we humans keep brainstorming options and plans, but God's purpose prevails. And so I took some notes, man. Basically, God's plan versus our plan. A lot of times we'll make plans that don't include God in it. And a lot of people say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. The thing is God is going to give you what you need over what you want. And so sometimes he might take you on a detour. Sometimes we got our own timeline of having things with regarding houses, kids, careers. I want to have certain things by certain ages, but God doesn't run on a age thing. So he's going to give you what you want, what you need. I think Proverbs 19:21 is good. When you do your brainstorming and you planning, just consider God, ask him, because his will prevail. And so it would be good if both things lined up. So Proverbs 19:21, I thought it was really good. Check that out. Another story before we get up out of here, a couple minutes left, man. Mitch Trubisky got his 5th-year option declined by the Bears. Possibly can be the last year for the for QB for the Bears. True.
The Bears finally thinking. They finally using their head, saying what we've been saying for the longest. Hot doo-doo water. He should. That was a smart decision.
What?
Go ahead, originator.
Okay, let me hot doo-doo water. Okay. Yeah. I told you the other day, Al. Tell the truth, just threw me off with that. Look.
Obviously, the Bears think so.
Look, I'm gonna just start off by saying you Bears fans disgust me. First of all, you Bears fans disgust me. Second of all, Al, what I tell you the other day, the fix was in. Brian Pace, he changed his tune 3 times in the offseason. He said that Trubisky is going to be the quarterback of the future going to next season. Then after that, they signed Nick Foles. Nick Foles was just there to boost Trubisky. And then he said that, it's going to be an open competition. When they traded for Nick Foles getting paid $88 million from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was getting $20-something million a year. If they had picked up Trubisky's option, he would have been guaranteed $24 million. You're not going to pay 2 quarterbacks $20 million. So it was already set in stone that Mr. Trubisky was not going to be the quarterback of the future because he is not Matt Nagy's guy. And I've been telling you how that all last season. He was frustrated with Trubisky. His lack of patience in developing players is in. He wants somebody that he's familiar with because that's important to a coach, to have a quarterback you're familiar with. He's familiar with Nick Foles. And it's, Trubisky is nothing that he can really do now. And if I was him, I would demand a trade.
He can do it, bro. They're not obligated to do anything. And Mr. Trubisky, I agree with you sometimes. Like it was some bad coaching going on, but at the same time, he didn't perform at great at times as well. So I'm not mad at him for not picking up that option. I think this is going to put a fire up under him to perform. A lot of times when you're on your last year of your contract, you know, they perform the best to get that new contract. So maybe this will bring something out of him. And
Nagy put him in a position to fail. You take away his best running back in Jordan Howard, then you try to have him throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game when that's not him. You know, you can't. I mean, Mr. Trubisky was a Pro Bowl quarterback the year before. We can say, yeah, it was an alternate, but guess what? He met the criteria to make it to the Pro Bowl. You cannot say that he just regressed that much going into the next season, especially when you take away his weapons and then you put
What about when he's missing wide open receivers? You know, he players wide open. He can't make the throw. That's not on the coach. That's on the quarterback.
You know what? The wide open receivers that you say that he missed, guess what? He still threw for 67% through the entire season. You know, his QBR to take it to ESPN terms was 75. You know, that's in the top, in the league. That's one of the tops in the league. You know, it's just that when you asking him to do something that's too much for him at that moment, you need to scale it back. You put too much on him. You know, stop running Tariq Cohen up the middle when he's 5'7", 135 pounds. When you got David Montgomery, who's your guy that can run between the numbers. You know, I mean, and if I was Nagy, I would tell Cohen, do wide receiver routes all in the offseason because he is not a running back. I would use him like Kansas City used Tyreek Hill. And you need to get a more downhill runner. And that's what Trubisky was missing. He didn't have any balance in his offense. Chicago led the league in 3 and outs. You know,
I guess it's going to be interesting to see. I still haven't heard you criticize Mitch Trubisky at all, even when
I'm not saying that Trubisky is clean. Yeah, he have his faults, you know, but he still had a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. You know, I mean, yeah, he missed a lot of
17 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. You know, I mean,
QBR was 39.5.
That's awful.
He's 28th in the NFL at 39.5, 17 TDs, 10 interceptions.
There you go. Those are some numbers right there. So
okay. All right. I mean, well,
that sounds like hot doo-doo water.
Okay, like
so he can ask to be forced to be traded all he wants, but you can't get much for hot doo-doo water.
Okay, well, guess what? You're gonna be saying the same thing about Nick Foles next season, and y'all gonna be begging Trubisky to come back. Nick Foles is a career backup quarterback.
Hey, he's a Super Bowl MVP though. Super Bowl MVP.
He did what a backup supposed to do.
Super Bowl MVP.
What did he do the next year?
Super Bowl MVP. He got that on his resume though. He got that on his resume. But look, I want to move on.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna just say this. Enjoy it.
Okay. We're gonna live with that. Hey, real quick before we get up out of here, man. Andy Dalton signed a 1-year deal with the Cowboys. Do you like the move? And what does that mean for Dak Prescott, originator?
I think it was a smart move for the Cowboys because you don't know what Dak Prescott is going to do. He might pull a Le'Veon Bell situation so that he can get his money. So the Cowboys is it's a game of chess right now. They said, hey, if you want to sit out, we got somebody who made the playoffs, almost every year in his career so far that, we got better weapons for him and we can see what we can do for him. So, I mean, the ball is in your court now because we don't know if Dak Prescott is being involved in these virtual training camps, and we don't know what he's going to do once training camps start. So, and plus, he hasn't signed his franchise tender yet. So the Cowboys are, making contingency plans right now, and they're smart on Jerry Jones.
Truth.
No, I agree with the originator. I think it's just a power move. It's a game of chess. It's a move on the chessboard. If you want to sit out, if you don't want to agree to the deal, we got something to back up. We the Cowboys. We're gonna keep making money with you or without you.
Who's gonna win in that dispute? Dak Prescott or Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones.
Yes.
The only time Jerry Jones lost is when he had played that game of chess with Emmitt Smith. and back in 1995. And Jerry Jones knew that the running back comes before the quarterback. That's why Ezekiel Elliott got his money, and that's why Amari Cooper got his money, and now he knows what Dak Prescott worth is. You know, yeah, Prescott put up the numbers last year, but you were 8-8. You didn't make the playoffs. You know, the ball was in your hand and you didn't produce. You know, so I mean, we know that back when they won the championships in the 90s, Emmitt Smith was the guy in that offense. It wasn't Troy Aikman. It was, you know, Michael Irvin made the plays. That's why he was the playmaker. He got his playmaker in Amari Cooper. That's why those two got their money, and Prescott's going to get the crumbs.
True. Who you got in this face off?
I say the Cowboys front office will win because the NFL is an owners league. Just like the NBA is a players league, the NFL is an owners league, and they'll keep on moving on without you. So I think the Cowboys are going to win that war.
I'm going to go with Prescott, man, because the quarterback is an important position. I would say the Andy Dalton signing didn't help him though. That threw a monkey wrench in his plan a little bit. But if they really talking about winning a Super Bowl, and Dak Prescott is the number one quarterback to do that, like I think that's a little leverage. So I'm gonna go with Dak Prescott in that face-off battle.
It just made Prescott expandable because with that signing with Andy Dalton now, do you know how many calls the Cowboys are going to get for Dak Prescott now? He'll get his money somewhere else, but that just made it easier for the Cowboys to trade him and get draft picks for him while he's valuable.
Well, they did. I believe they did give him the franchise tag. He just haven't signed it yet. So I think eventually he's probably just going to sign it anyway. Eventually he's going to have to sign that franchise. Maybe he'll just play for the franchise that year and see what happens. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. But I thank everybody for tuning in today. If you all ever want to advertise on this show, get in contact with me. Thank you to The Truth for coming on, jumping on with us today, brother.
No problem.
Originated, thank you as always, brother.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
We're going to see y'all next week.
Peace.
Holla.